Piero Hincapie has already achieved a lot for a young player. He's a front-footed defender, comfortable playing as a centre-half and at times at left-back, with qualities that modern coaches really value. But does he make sense for Arsenal? And would he really improve on an already elite back line? Hincapie doesn't shy away from defensive duels, whether it's pressing high, sliding into wide areas, or cleaning up play. His recovery speed and front-footed approach make him a natural fit for a high-pressing side. Last season, he operated on the wide left more frequently, often stepping forward aggressively, and when defending in the channel against top wingers, he looked more than comfortable. Watch him here. His body positioning is perfect. He's ready to intercept the pass out wide, but when the ball is played on the inside, he quickly switches his stance. Notice how he switched on, staying connected to the attacker. He tracks the run and muscles him off the ball without committing a foul. He's not afraid to step out and engage, even if it means leaving big spaces behind him. You see again here, the attacker receives the ball between the lines with acres of space. Hincapie steps out of the backline and prepares to engage. And what he does here is something I've noticed quite a few times in his defending. He gets really low, stays side on. Notice how he takes a big first step as he's jockeying. The attacker fakes as if he's going to exit one way, then attempts to go on the outside. Hincapie reacts really well, and with a solid defensive stance, he's able to poke the ball away before the attacker can react. Now this defensive style is quite risky, but if you time it right, like he does often, it becomes a serious weapon. He gives attackers just enough space to feel comfortable, then punishes them the moment they hesitate. Take a look at this map here. It shows where Hincapie's recoveries occur on the pitch. A large number of interceptions, marked in blue, come on the left side of the box, which is where you'd expect him to operate. Now look at the yellow dots. These are his counter-pressing recoveries. They are clustered high on the left flank, an area where Leverkusen often press aggressively and where Hincapie steps in to win the ball back quite often. Across the past year, he averaged just under 11 recoveries per 90, with nearly 4 of those coming in counter-pressing situations. He's constantly involved in regaining possession, especially in advanced areas. He's an active front-footed defender who fits perfectly into systems that press high and recover the ball quickly. But with this aggressive style of defending, it does come with the risk. There are times against high-level wingers where he can be caught out. Here, he's out wide against the winger. He doesn't get low like he usually does, so when the winger changes direction to exit, Hincapie sticks his leg out, but not with much conviction. He miscalculates the distance and timing, which leads to him being dribbled past quite easily. Now this isn't something common in his game, but there are times where he can be dribbled past when he's not fully set to engage. What's encouraging though is how well his tackle stats hold up over time. Despite defending in vulnerable areas, his success rate of dribblers tackled last season was 61%, a solid number given his volume of tackles. And across his entire Bundesliga career, that success rate jumps to an impressive 76.8%. So while he can be exposed and skip past, more often than not he wins his defensive duels. So we've seen what Hincapie offers defensively, but how good is he on the ball? One of Hincapie's biggest strengths is how well he progresses the ball from deep. He's adventurous, always looking to disrupt the opposition structure with his passing. You see here, his teammate is on the ball and Hincapie is part of the back two in build-up. He spots a gap left by the opposition and immediately makes himself available. Receiving the ball with minimal pressure, he drives into the space in front of him. Now he has options. He could release it early, but instead he waits for a clearer passing lane. Once it opens up, he threads a perfect pass through the line which the forward miscontrols. This chance was created purely by Hincapie's patience, awareness and willingness to break the lines. When you look at his ball progression map, there's a pattern that really jumps out. He constantly looks to play forward into the left channel, whether it's to the wide zone near the touchline or in the inside half space. That's where he targets most of his forward passes. And the range of those passes is just as impressive. Over the past year, he attempted 480 progressive passes in the Bundesliga, completing 366 of them, with a strong success rate of 76.3%. But what I found interesting was, the longer the pass, the more accurate they seem to be. From 30 to 40 meters, he completed 90 out of 103 passes. And from 40 meters and beyond, he completed 51 out of 58 passes. Now that's really impressive for a defender. Most players see the accuracy drop with distance, but Hincapie seems to be more precise when he's punching it forward the further he is. Whether it's a line-breaking ball into midfield or a pass into space in behind, his technique doesn't seem to drop. As a wide centre-back in a back three, he often becomes a spare man in build-up, especially when teams focus on Leverkusen's wing-backs. That gives him time and space to step forward and deliver balls from deep. You see here, Hincapie drifts wide, positioned close to Grimaldo, who's Leverkusen's wing-back. Grimaldo draws the attention from the opposition and Hincapie is left in space. From here, he's able to pick his head up and put in a cross from deep, right into the danger zone for his teammate to attack. Now that kind of delivery isn't common from a centre-half, but with Hincapie it's part of the package. We've seen how Hincapie is able to build play from deep and deliver from wide areas. But how is he starting play from the final third? Well, firstly, I don't see him as an overlapping threat or a dribble-heavy player, but I think that's by design. At Leverkusen, the wing-backs push high and wide, so Hincapie's role is more about holding shape and not bombing forward. When he does carry the ball, it's usually in advanced areas on the left flank. In the past year, he's attempted just 33 dribbles, completing 23, with a success rate of nearly 70%. These are respectable figures given the zones he operates in, but the volume isn't high. The question is, how well would those figures look if his dribbling volume increased? Now, in my opinion, he doesn't have the top burst to be feared on the flanks. However, he has shown a willingness to face up players on the touchline, skipping past them and putting balls into the box. Here, he receives the ball on the flank, isolated with the defender. He lowers his shoulder below the defenders, giving him that extra burst to get past him. Notice how he uses his arm to fend off the opponent whilst on the move. He does well to dig out a cross into a dangerous place, but the attacker doesn't read it. He does drive with the ball infield more than going wide, but this could be because of Leverkusen's use of wing-backs who stay really wide to begin with. You see him again here, he's part of the back three. Now he's the free man in possession. There's the wing-back, staying really wide, hugging the touchline. As the ball arrives to Hincapie, he braces himself for the opponent that's pressing him. Look how much he lowers his shoulder again, making it really difficult for the opponent to get in front of him and stop him from progressing with the ball. He attacks the space left behind. Now with another defender in front of him, he takes his time and waits for him to commit, passing to his teammate who attacks the space that's been left behind. He does have good fundamentals in skipping past players, but it's not something I see him doing regularly playing as a touchline fullback. But as a centre-back, stepping into space, his carrying and ball control are highly desirable traits to have. With strong links to Arsenal, I wanted to see whether he could possibly play and if he'd be a good fit. In possession, Arsenal play with a back three. It's similar to how Leverkusen set up, with 5 attackers in the front line. For Leverkusen, Hincapie plays a very similar role to Gabriel, often drifting wide and engaging with wingers, whilst the fullback will stay up the pitch. His aggression and timing has shown that he can do that role well. But Arsenal have plenty of defenders to deputise in Gabriel's absence, although he's probably the most suited. He does remind me a lot of Bastoni in the way he's able to step out and be an offensive threat with his deep passing range. I don't think he's someone you'd regularly trust to play as a touchline fullback, especially against sides you'd expect Arsenal to dominate. But in games where Arsenal come up against top level wingers, I could see him replacing Calafiori, as he's the better defender. Now in my opinion, Hincapie is not a necessity, but he is a quality defender and has achieved a lot in his young career. If Arsenal were to sign a defender, they don't need someone who's flashy. They need someone who's comfortable on the ball, aggressive with control, and who's tactically adaptable. And that's what Hincapie essentially is. He'd most likely replace Kiwior on the side and allow Lewis Kelly to be an option in midfield. Let me know your thoughts on the player and the potential transfer. Is this the kind of signing that improves Arsenal, or is it a transfer you consider unnecessary? Comment below your thoughts, and until next time, peace.